Holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the world felt his warmth. A glimpse of hope. The weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angels' voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born, oh, night divine, oh, night divine. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. It is time. Merry Christmas to you and your family and your friends and whoever you are spending it with. 'Tis the season to be jolly. Welcome to another episode of the In All Honesty podcast. My fabulous name is Oliver Rao, and this is the last episode of In All Honesty podcast this year. Okay, we'll come back next year, 2022. No, this is 2022 that's ending. I have really been excited about 2023. I do not know why. I hope it holds good things. And anyway, this being our last episode, I hope it's going to be short. I just want to do my highlights and bummers of the year, my biggest lessons, and then, of course, my Christmas tradition. So I'm going to start with my Christmas tradition, which is basically just sleeping. So since I moved out of home, I stopped Christmasing, and this is because Christmas for me, Christmas used to happen at our home. Let me tell you, it was, we have a big family. Okay, in our family alone, we're not as big. Our nuclear family is not as big, but the extended family is huge, and people are old, so they also have families of their own, and those families now come on again. So Christmases were always like, there was a huge number of people, and the tradition in our family was to go to shags, and then just like have a feast together. So with that, it was a Christmas tradition every other year. And I remember, I was just telling someone in my DMs, I used to be so anxious when school was going to close around November, because I just knew we were going to get shipped to shags and then start prepping for Christmas. And it's a lot of work. There's just cleaning, there's cooking, there's preparing for guests. There's just, Christmas was just surrounded with a lot of work. I was one of the people who was just behind the scenes, always in the kitchen, always cleaning. I was believed to be the child who was thorough. So I was so thorough that I was getting borrowed by my relatives. Like, can Olive come over and help me with this? Can Olive come over and help me with this? Please be lazy. Be lazy from the get-go. Let no one know you can do anything. This is my biggest lesson, okay? I'm telling you this. It's a hack, life hack. Be lazy. And be lazy, and don't care about what they'll say. Just be lazy, because you will be used if you look too industrious. So I was the thorough one, the neat one, the one who knew organization, the one who could express themselves very well, the one who knew how to make guests comfortable. So I was here and there, here and there, here and there. And did I have time to sit down and enjoy with like the rest of the family? Did I sit down and just eat the food and make merry and like pig a story like other people? No. So every time I think about Christmas, I just think about work. And when I left home, I was just like, I am never coming back for Christmas, guys. You will see me from January to early December. I am willing to go home every single month. If you want thrice a month, I will go home. But around the 20 something all the way to 30th, not even 30th, New Year's, all the way past New Year's to around 3rd there, you'll never find me at home. There's just so much work that surrounds that place. And I don't care now if there's less work back at home. That's the memory in my head. And I'm just like, I'm not going to relive those moments. I'm not going to give anyone a chance to give me work, you know. And I feel like Christmas should be a happy time. I feel like Christmas, even when people are coming together, it should be a time when people are happy, when people are sharing, when people are getting you get to feel encouraged. Like even if you're with your family, if you had a rough year, then in this moment, then you can forget who you are and what you've been through, and let's just make merry and be happy. But I feel like in African homes, things like Christmas are now the get together for the family, and it's like everyone is waiting for that moment, and it's now show off, and it's you want to dig someone. Why don't you have a husband? Why did your husband cheat on you? Why are your kids not in the grade A schools? Why, like, you just find people carrying some sort of animosity towards each other, and it's just not the Christmas spirit. I just don't like it. I'm not saying it happened in my home, but I've literally even seen like memes just from starting Thanksgiving for the Americans, starting from Thanksgiving Day, and I'm just like, how have we made this such a norm? How is this now a meme that you're laughing that when you go to Thanksgiving and you're asked this and someone wants to offend you in this way? I am just like, I don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate having to prepare for the aunties who want to ask you very offensive questions. I don't think that's healthy, and I hope we are growing better traditions as Africans. We are growing healthier boundaries, healthier communication, healthier, I don't know, relationships with our families and the people around us, so that Christmas is not a season that some people describe as amazing. For them, they went and met family and it was amazing. And there are people who are going to meet the same family and don't have the same story. Because honestly speaking, if we ask anyone else who's been in the Christmases in my family, that we've been in the same Christmas, same home, eating the same food, and if you ask them their experience, they wouldn't tell you it was as horrific as mine. Them that describe a really good time. So I don't want that. I don't want that disparity when it comes to family and getting together. I don't like there's this segmentation around African families where the kids who like got more money or have already made it, you can tell the energy of the parents towards those kids, compared to kids who are probably still struggling, haven't still found their footing. You can tell how the energy is towards them. And I think I would think family is a place where you go back to when all else is lost. And in the African homes, I think that's not it yet. And as I have mentioned before, I have seen people my age, millennials and Gen Z, raise their kids in a very different way. And I'm really happy to see it. And I can't wait to see this generation once we are all grown up and us, we are old, and just see how that turned out. Just see healthier family connections. I would love to see that. Anyway, for Christmas, that was my experience growing up, and that is why I just don't Christmas anymore. I just felt like Christmas doesn't carry the spirit that I want it to carry for me. I love it though, that I am able to do with my Christmas what I want, and most of the time it's just chilling in the house. I'll grab snacks on the 24th, I'll grab snacks from a massage. I'll grab snacks and of course take out on the 24th because I don't want to leave the house on the 25th. Wine, whatever I need, and then on the 25th you just have like books, movies, duvet, you and your snacks, and it's just a really good time by yourself. My friends and I have organized a dinner, but I'm still waiting for confirmation because their plans are also tied to their family plans and other circles of their friends' plans. So if that happens also, I'll get to share with you on my TikTok or Instagram how my Christmas goes. But if it doesn't, I will be happy to just like be here as usual. Since the past 6 years, I haven't done Christmas for 6 years now. 7 actually. Yeah, I haven't done Christmas for 6 7 years, and it has always been a regular day, and I've really 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 loved it like that. That's why Christmas is the best time for me. Nairobians have left the city. Such a good time. Anywho, then I'll get to say the bummers that I faced this year. I will admit that I have not had very low lows. I have described in previous episodes where I have been rock bottom. I'm telling you, the 2016, 2017 has been rock bottom. And I hate that I went through that, but sometimes I like that it's the comparison I have. So every time even like something bad happens or I have a bad experience in the current time, I always compare it to that time and I'm just like, it's not as bad. And for that, I am grateful. It's not as bad. And probably because of that attitude, probably I've not felt like I've had very negative experience, a lot of negative experiences just from comparing to a time when it was worse, comparing to a time when it was worse. But one of the biggest bummers this year, of course, was work. I was really, really exhausted at work. A lot was happening. I was taking up a new role. The company was shape shifting, if I could say. Yeah, it was just, there was a lot of pressure this year at work, and at some point I just felt like caving in. But still, I have had worse, and this was not the worst of it. And I'm glad that I did come out of it okay, yeah, at the end of the day. And I work with a team that is honestly amazing. If I could just like give them gifts for every time I have to work with them, I'm more than grateful. So work was a bit heavy, especially around the first half of the year. From around March to around August was heavy. It was just like, where am I even going with this? I don't even understand what I'm doing here. It just doesn't make sense. But I got the gist of it, and it became okay. The second bummer that I would probably talk about is mending relations with my, I don't know if it's a bummer or a highlight. Like, it could be a good thing. So my sister jetted back into the country, and I started talking to my younger sisters a little bit more. And it's only then that I started to realize that my sisters carry traumas as well. You know, when you're hurting and you're going through things, you just don't realize. For me, I've always seen it as I had it worst at home because I felt like I was the least favorite child, right? And when I started talking to my sisters and just like having intimate conversations, they also get to understand. We now get to see each other's perspectives, and we're just like, wait a minute, that was happening to you, and we were living in the same house and we didn't know. So I think that eye-opening experience, just having conversations with my sisters, was really nice. But I think I think this is why I'd call it a bummer, because it opened wounds that I thought had been healed. I had not cried for so long. I had been happy for so long. I had not thought about family and traumas for so long. And then just talking to my sister, and she's saying something, and I'm like, oh my goodness, you are on the good side of this experience. I was on this side of this experience, and this is what it was like. And I love the highlight now is that I love how my sisters are just so receiving, and they're just like, I am sorry that that happened to you. I'm sorry, I didn't know that was happening from your end. From my end, it looked glamorous. And I also just realized that, and I'm just like, oh, here where I was sitting, and I felt like my sisters were getting everything and I was just getting nothing. If at all I was getting anything, it was crumbs. They, on the other hand, that whatever was being handed to them, or whatever I felt was being handed to them very freely, also came with conditions and stuff, and they were also struggling with their own mental issues and their own struggles in their own lives. And I was just like, this is, I felt bad. I felt bad for the times when I was just like, you know, me, I'm out, guys. I'm out. You guys, you have each other. I've never had anyone. I'm just like, I have to survive on my own. And to realize that even they were fighting battles, and I did not recognize or acknowledge that, only because my heart was probably a bit more evident. I don't know. But it was really nice for me to start talking to my sisters like that, and just understanding that We are all dealing. We are all dealing. It doesn't matter how good you've had it, we are all dealing. And the other thing that could be, no, it was really a bummer. I struggled with money for a whole while. This was around anyway, it's not like a bad thing. It's connected to a good thing. But still it had been a while since I had been like broke, like no savings, like every time I sat down this year, I was just like, if I lose my job, I literally am sleeping outside tomorrow. I have nothing. Clients are not coming in. Side gigs are not coming in. My salary at work is just politics. I'm just like, anyway, yes, I remember just having those moments where I was like, I hope nothing goes wrong right now. Every single day I wake up and I'm just like, I hope nothing goes wrong. And it was so bad that I was praying for things like, I hope I don't fall sick. And if I fall sick, I hope I fall sick within the cover and within the price range of the things that can be covered by the medical insurance that I have been offered by my employer, who also I am hoping will still keep me. I know I'm good at my job. I know I'm relevant at my place of work. I know I'm really good at what I do. I know I'm an important asset of the company, but still there's that, you can't always count on it. You can't always count on it. So I had my bummer this year in terms of finances was just that point where I was like, I have nothing. I have nothing. I'm living hand to mouth. I have nothing. I was paying also loans for probably 4 or 5 months in between February also. I was paying loan, a big loan. Now it's related to a highlight that I have. And I think that was the only bummers I had this year. I wouldn't say they're bad. Honestly, just even talking about them talking about them without crying tells you just how easy it was. It wasn't, and I feel very grateful that I have had worse experiences and I've had something to compare it to. And honestly, a constant fear is hitting that rock bottom again, or even like getting a worse experience than that. So those should be my bummers. I'm not upset about them. I don't feel they were overly like bummers, like they're just bummers. Like it's just those things that slightly inconvenienced you in some way. But with that said, I'll go to my highlights, which I am extremely excited about. Also a bummer. Let me just put this in as a side note. So I tried seeing someone this year, and let me tell you, I was talking to this person for a couple of months, and a drama just went out. Like there was so much going on. I was just like, oh, is the universe trying to tell me, can you leave this person? So yes, I sort of dated someone. I don't know if it's called dating. Yeah, but we were exclusive. We actually talked and we said we were exclusive. So for a couple of, is that about 4 months? Yeah, it was about 4 months. And I was just like, it's just not. There was something off about it. There was just a lot of things off about it, but it's a beautiful human being. They're amazing. They are smart, they are gentle, they're beautiful at heart, they are industrious, they're all of it. They're it was good. It was a good person. I just don't think we were compatible. Yeah, so that was also a bummer. The things that happened while we were dating, and it has nothing to do with them or I. It just had a lot to do with like things from you know how things can just be happening and you're just like, am I in a movie? What is happening? What is happening? And then the funniest bit is that when we finally decided to just call it quits, this person went and just like thrived, and I just went back to thriving again, and I was like, okay, I'm starting to think I might want to do a lot more research on energies and just see that compatibility thing. That was really interesting to observe this year. But anyway, that was part of the bummers. I don't know if it's a highlight. A highlight is, yeah, someone got laid. But anyway, Um, on my highlights this year, I'm going to start with the biggest of them all. Why I was in debt to begin with is I bought my first car. It's time. Yeah. So I bought my first car this year. I had set to buy it for a while. From last year, I had told me I started saving for my car last year, and I had started shopping. So I was shopping online as usual. I'm always shopping online, and by February, it was around February the 10th, I found this car online on Gigi. It was a second-hand car, and the owner, I don't know, it just clicked. The owner was just like, I don't know everything. I shop online a lot and don't do this because I think I survive on luck a lot. I think my superpower is luck, but I can tell when something is a good deal just from my heart, like my gut feeling. So with that car, when I saw it, I was just like, this is the car I'm buying. My money had not gotten to the amount that I needed to buy that car cash, but it was halfway through. So I was like, this is the car I'm going to buy. So I set up an appointment with this person and went and saw the car without having the full money. And when I went and saw it, I went with a friend of mine who now checked out the car, and he was like, this is a damn good deal and you're getting it at that price. So I saw the car, I loved it. I like, my heart just said, this is the car I'm going home with. And so I tell him, you call me in 2 days and bring the car to me and I'll pay for it. In these 2 days, you think I have half the money? Ulinipea kama mkurugenzi vile huuliza. So what I did is, these people who I borrowed money know. So if I reached out to you for aka 20, aka 30, aka 10 G's, that was what I was paying it for. So I was basically just filling up the half of the money that I didn't have. But I was able to pay it back in right about 5 months. So everyone I took loans from, so I bought the car cash. So I raised that money in about 2 days. And I don't know, amazing people. There are people who lended me money and I only know them from Facebook. Like, I just had a gut feeling that you're genuine, you're my person. I feel like you could be my person in real life. And I just hollered at them and I was just like, do you have this amount of money? I'm returning it on this particular date. And yeah, people sent me money. First of all, I felt like, so that was a strategy. The first strategy was to like go get the whole sum, the total amount from either someone or from like a bank, a loan, something of the sort. But then banks couldn't approve because I don't take loans. I've never taken a loan. So banks couldn't approve. My circle also had an issue. And so I couldn't take a loan. And then, so I decided, so I borrowed a couple of people. Do you have this amount of money? And they were just like, unataka nitoe wapi? And even if they had it, it was difficult for someone to give you that amount. They'd rather, you know how when you give money that you're willing to lose. You're sure it won't come back. So I decided the next strategy is to get like a couple of people and borrow small amounts. And I got enough people to borrow small amounts from until it amounted to the entire whatever. It amounted to the entire amount, and I was able to buy the car on cash. So everyone else I borrowed small monies from, I paid it out in exactly, I think, the next month. Yeah, and then the other ones, the person who had now lent me the huger chunk of money, I paid them over, I think, a couple of, maybe 4 months after that. I was able to complete all of it. But that is why I was broke most of the time. So, because this savings that I was putting aside was for the car. I didn't also concentrate on putting down like savings for other things, for a rainy day. So that is what kept worrying me on my bummers. But the highlight is I have a car, which I think is a huge deal. Is a big deal. Like, guys, is a big deal. Is a big deal. I'm going to scream for myself because it's a freaking big deal. And I bought the car on the 13th of February. So I will always remember it with a Valentine's. A win is a win. A win is a win. Anyway, the car, and then the second thing. Oh, A second highlight is this year. I celebrated my work anniversary at 4 years, and there were friendships that I also met in this place of work that I started that have lasted 4 years. And I know it doesn't mean anything, but for me, that's a lot. I don't keep people for even 6 months. I don't keep people for a year. So having people consistently in my life for 4 years, I felt like that was a win, and I felt like it was a highlight. And I felt like it was people with I genuinely connected to. It's people that it's the literally the circle that I'm gonna have dinner with if it works out over Christmas. And these people have just been I have found people who are genuine. I've found people who I share values with. I found people who uh, I don't feel like I'm getting used. I don't feel like I'm getting. I find people who reciprocate my energy, who reciprocate the how I love and how I gift, and they give that back. So I think my friendships have been a basic highlight this year. That's just been amazing. I have shared so many experiences with these people. And yeah, I think yeah, a win is a win. I feel like the friends that I have acquired over the past few years and the ones who I have literally the ones who I have right now, I feel like it's a win. And number three, I don't know why was I counting? Anyway, at number three, I think some of the highlights that I've had are, let me see, work related. I don't think I have highlights work related. Oh, I did transition from like one role to another at work. It didn't come with money, but it came with a different role. And I feel like the new role is more interesting. That's always something I really, really like. I do not like to stay in one place for a very long time. And so when I transitioned roles, I'm usually very, very happy. So work is a win. The team I'm working with at work is a win because they keep me going. There are days you just like sasa huku ni wapi, but these people just genuinely keep you going. The other highlight I have the highlight. Oh, Lamu. That is very recent. I almost forgot it. So I went to Lamu for the first time, is it my first solo trip? Have I gone for other solo? Maybe they were very tiny. I didn't consider them trips. But anyway, going to Lamu by myself was a really huge highlight. I was just like, I know my life is draped in solitude. And so it would be really nice to celebrate my 30th in that manner. And so going to Lamu on a solo trip was just really nice for me. And it also set like the pace for me to do solo trips later on, because I was thinking having if you check the last episode where I was turning 30, if you I mentioned that I realized I'm not compatible with some of my friends when it comes to travel. Everything else were amazing, but travel, you need to realize that you need to be compatible with people you're traveling with, by the way, because it's like a marriage. It's not easy. So realizing that, I also realized that I'll have to, maybe the things that interest me don't interest them. The things that I would want to do in a certain way, they won't want to do like that. So I will have to do a lot of things solo, and that will include traveling. So I need to just make the first move and make sure I will feel confident enough to like do now travels outside the country by myself and be confident with that. So my Lamu trip was really a win this year. I'm really happy about it. And I think that completes my highlights this year. I can't think of anything else. I would say this podcast is a highlight, but honestly, I haven't had new episodes CJ from, was it March to November is when I started giving you episodes like this, like that. I'll be a better human next year. But right now, I think that is basically a sum up of my entire year. And going into this Christmas, I'm really proud. I'm happy. I am not in a bad place. I hope 2023 has better things. And for you, I hope you get to also sit down and look back at your highlights and bummers. Whatever bummers, was there a lesson inside there? If there wasn't, we cry, we move forward. If you had highlights, make sure you celebrate them. A win is a win. It doesn't matter how small A win is a win, baby girl. A win is a win. So make sure to just look back and celebrate your smallest wins. Let me tell you, if you bought a bottle of wine and you've never been able to afford a bottle of wine before, it's a win. Don't think of it as 800 bob. Don't think of it as 1,000 bob. Think of it as me buying a bottle of wine, okay? So, I'm wishing you a very Merry Christmas. Whatever your traditions are, whatever way you're celebrating Christmas, whoever you will be with, I really hope you just have a really good time in this festive season. And I hope 2023 holds out a lot of prosperity for you, for all of us. I always say health, wealth, and happiness. Be in good health. Get the wealth in whatever way you want it, whether you want it in forms of property, whether you want it in forms of friends and a support group, whatever way your wealth, whatever way you consider wealth to be, I hope you have it in plenty, in abundance, and of course, happiness. I have genuinely been happy. I have tried my best to make sure I am happy. Even those days that are really, really bad, I'm just like, I'm going to sleep. But tomorrow we have to find something else that we are just happy about. So I hope the best for everyone. I really do hope the best for us. And until next year, 2023, may you stay safe. May you be happy. I will see you again. But until then, I love you. My fabulous name is Oliver Rao, and this is the last episode of In All Honesty Podcast 2022. I'll see you again next year, but for now, bye. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart.